way Mark sort of approaches these games is that we like to go as strong as we possibly can, but at the same time, giving players game time and without weakening the side.
Pleased with Bojan on Saturday.
Yeah,
Great to see him.
Delighted for him, especially the icing on the cake was to get his goal. He's been what I would call, he's been fit, possibly match fit for a few weeks, but that real sharpness I think everybody saw when he took his goal to make that run and darting behind. Never mind the finish, which was cool and collected. It was not a lot of players would be able to see the run and the space behind, and that's what he gives us. And it's obviously it bodes well for the future. We're delighted for him, obviously, because he's worked really hard.
Is he itching to play every game now? The players are like that, aren't they?
Yeah, they like that. Of course, he spent a lot of time out, and he'll be wanting to kick every ball and play every minute. But obviously, we still got to be mindful of. At this stage, I haven't spoken to him this morning or seen him this morning, but coming out of his first Premier League start, no doubt he'll have aches and pains and soreness this morning. We'll just have to assess him as it goes for tomorrow.
How's the progress of Ryan Shawcross?
Ryan, he's coming on fine in terms of light walking, light jogging, and ride outs as well. He hasn't done any ball work. He certainly hasn't been working with the group yet. That will probably in the weeks to come. But spoke to him recently. He's had some stiffness and soreness. He's had, I think it's fair to say, he's had some down days. Meaning he's just when he thinks he's really back and flying, and he'll have a day where it's really sore with him, and he has to take a step back. But I know he did a good body of work last week in terms of his running and his fitness work. So I think at this stage, it's just leaving with the rehabilitation guys and monitoring closely.
Just finally from me, if you don't win tomorrow, are you mindful of the pressure that might be on the game on Saturday at Bournemouth?
Not in regards to going on from tomorrow. We're mindful that the pressure comes that we put on ourselves for not getting wins. So it's individual games, you take what you can, but it won't. I don't think it'll add or take away any pressure than we feel from winning at home in front of our own fans next week.
Thanks very much.
All right. Mark Hughes said he felt a few of the decisions didn't perhaps go Stoke's way at the weekend. Is that just the way things are going?
Yeah, well, I think it's easy for me to say, but I'm going to say it. Yeah, at times, it's a fact that you look at periods in your season where, when you seem to be winning games and climbing the table and doing really well, things tend to go for you, and you have a period it just seems at the moment if something can go wrong for us, it will. So we've been in this position before, the players have, so we'll come through it. We've got strong characters in the dressing room, but yeah, a little bit of luck on the bonus.
Turning point, obviously the weekend, Leicester got that penalty in the second half. There was a bit of discussion as to whether it was in or out of the area. What were your thoughts on that?
I think there's no doubt his foot was outside the penalty area, but personal point of view is you can't blame linesmen and referees for that. It was a rash period of play that Mark went out to actually apologise afterwards. He switched off for 2 seconds where Drinkwater got in behind him, and then let's just say the way he ran back and tried to rectify his mistake was a winger's way of defending. Let's put it in a nice way.
There's obviously going to be positives you can take from the weekend though, and to get yourself in that position where you're 2-0 up is a good sign, isn't it? The fact that you could hold onto it obviously is the bad side of that, but to get yourself into a 2-0 lead against a team who are a good one like Leicester is, I guess, positive, isn't it?
Yeah, there's I think people who watch sometimes, and again we've all been watching football for years, it's sometimes you look at teams and if they look devoid of confidence, then you're watching them and you actually look and think, well, they're not even creating chances, and the whole team looks down. You didn't see anywhere near that with our boys Saturday. We were bright, we were energetic, and took the game to a good Leicester side. And as I say, we watch a lot of other games over the weekend. We watch a lot of football all the time, and see other teams making mistakes, and they get away with it. At the moment we make mistakes, we get punished for them.
And Jonathan Walters with another cool finish, good to get a goal for him. I suspect you're pleased now that you held on to him during the transfer.
Absolutely, of course, yeah. I mean, as soon as the window closed and he was still our player, we were delighted, and there was a few things sort of, I feel like, spoken in the last couple of weeks, about John's situation, but he generally played for Ireland for two 90-minute games. He came back and his knee was sore, so we had to take him out of it and rest him, because it's one of those things where if he keeps playing with it, then it doesn't get much better. But he had a little bit of rest, came back and looked fresh and his usual energetic self. I think as regards with John, it's probably doesn't mind me saying it, but a lot of people keep on about he's a top professional and that's all they say. And he is, we know, but he's a good player as well, a good finisher and a good player.
Is there any particular areas that you want to work on in training this week ahead of the game tomorrow and the end of the weekend?
No, we're just, no things that we don't usually work on. You know, we'll be mindful of our shape out of possession. We've got to defend a bit better. We've got to start looking at clean sheets now. You know, not that we haven't in the past, but you know, it does, I think, focus the mind a bit that we've got to start trying to get some clean sheets as well. You know, there's no doubt we've missed Ryan Shawgers, our captain's not been with us from the start of the season, but and hopefully that'll rectify something in the coming weeks. But it doesn't stop us working on, you know, the things that we think we can improve on this side.
I know you've already mentioned the Bournemouth game already, but does that really add to the pressure? Is it a must-win game against Bournemouth?
No, because must-win games are when you come to the last game of the season and you need 3 points to stay up. That's a must-win game. You know, there's 38 games in the season, and as I said before, the last 2 years we've been here, and even before the last 12 years we've been in the Premier League. You know, Mark, Eddie, and myself. Don't ask me why, but we've had slow starts in the past, and you know, it's 38 games we come through, and the way we work, we get results at the end of the day, and we finish top 10. Hopefully the same will be the case this year.
Thank you.
Mark, any injury worries?
No, well, from Saturday, Mohamed Youth obviously wasn't involved Saturday because he'd come back from international duty and trained once or twice, but hadn't trained since Tuesday. Feeling his hamstring and his groin a bit, so if it had been a cup final Saturday, would he have been involved in some way? Possibly, but you know, again, with games coming up thick and fast, we rested him Saturday, and hopefully, as I say, I don't know, seen individual players this morning, but hopefully he'll be fine to be included tomorrow in the squad.
Yeah, we thought he might be up front, but you chose John Walters. Was there any sort of like, you were trying to sort of like unpick Robert Huth, you know, and try to catch him out because John knows quite well?
No, I suppose to answer that question, you know, we try to concentrate on ourselves first and foremost going into games, but no, I think it was, you know, in the build up to the game, Mohamed hadn't trained since Tuesday, so there was very much in the manager's mind that it was a huge risk trying to start him in the game, and if you don't start him because of the hamstring situation, you bring him on, is he going to be right? And if he comes out of the game, win, lose or draw, if he comes out of the game and he's got a sore hamstring when he pulls it, then you're going to be kicking yourself, so we decided to leave him out for the game.
Off to Fulham on tomorrow night, and happy memories from the years spent there?
Yeah, but again, very much we had, if I remember right, we had another slow start at Fulham where we were round about the bottom four at Christmas time, finished 8th, and many happy memories with certainly the people who work at the place, and I'm sure there's still a lot of them there now, and with a good group of players, and it's a good club. It's a very good club, and as I say, we're happy memories.
I don't know, I dare ask you. I always ask you a difficult question, but I'll ask you this one because you're always such a calm, serene person on the touchline.
I am.
And yes,
oh, absolutely.
But during the West Brom game, you got a little bit heated about something. Can you tell us?
Well, only one thing, and it's, I think Andrew Maran will forgive me for saying this. I just at the time was going on, we were 2-0 up in the game, and being the referee he is, trying to keep the game flowing, he kept sort of, there were times when we thought we should have had free kicks, and he kept playing this advantage, and I was just asking the question, I didn't see where there was too much advantage in that. From our point of view, we'd rather the game slow down and get a free kick, unless we're clean through on goal. But that's my personal opinion. He might say, well, they'll play advantage, keeps the game flowing, but difference of opinion there.
And the obvious question about cup games, so you're going to be shuffling the pack, will there be a...
Well, as I said, I would imagine that there'll be 1 or 2 new faces coming in, fresh players coming in, fresh faces coming in, but at the same time, you know, I think Mark, through his playing career, management career, he tries to go as strong as possible for every single cup game he plays, because we realise the importance of it. The crowd, the supporters here are desperate for a good cup run, so that's hopefully what we're getting.
Well, just one more on, you said before, we've all been watching football for years, you've been involved in football for years, much closer than we have, and you've seen how it's changed. What do you make of this situation with Diego Costa and Gabriel and those little spats on the field now?
I think they've always been there. I don't think that's changed. They've always been there, but because of the scrutiny of the TV cameras now, nothing goes amiss. Well, most things don't go amiss. You know, there's still 1 or 2 that we've had this season, but no. So they'll always happen in the game. But I think it's called professionalism. I wouldn't mind having a Diego Costa in our squad, put it that way.
Well, Mark Hughes was a prime example. Your boss used to love a battle on the pitch, didn't he? And
yeah. I think that used to be, it's a cliche if you like, but everybody used to say first and foremost you have to win the battle. I don't think it's changed too much now. You know, you get a lot of talented players coming into the Premier League from foreign countries, if you like, and I think for me the biggest thing is they've got to understand very quickly that it's, for all the talent you've got in the world, you have to work hard, you have to desire, you've got to battle and fight your corner, and then if you've got talent on top of that, that's what will get you results.
you've got to do it a bit differently now, though, haven't you?
Yeah, well, yeah, with one eye on the cameras and the referees and the linesmen, so.
Thanks very much.
Mark, is Afellay back in?
Afellay available,
Back in
yes.
detention.
Yeah, we appealed his red card and he only got 2 games instead of the 3.
Right, so good for him to be back in
Yeah.
for the stop and start.
Yeah, he's available for us tomorrow. Yeah.
Charlie's got another game.
Charlie's got 1.
Okay, radio.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mark.
Cheers.
Thank you.